particular individual doesn't even understand two really important things. State and local police cannot participate in immigration because it's a federal function only. It never defaults to the states. So police cannot participate in immigration screening. And in the case of asylum seekers, they already go through a process. So once they're approved for asylum, they already have court cases and interviews set up within the federal system that includes regular check-ins. That's why they're given a phone, is so that they could check in and make sure that they get updated text information about their court dates. So all of the things that you want to have happen already happen and already are a part of the law. So I'm not quite sure what you mean when you say the right way.
And guys, we'll get to new guests at 25K likes, okay? So if you want a new one, tap quicker. People in the request box, we'll get to you shortly. If you voted for Trump, hit the request button. Go ahead, guys.
Is he talking to me or you? I'm confused what's going on.
He was talking to you. Sounds like you didn't hear anything he said.
I was kind of listening. I thought he was talking to you, so I wasn't paying attention. But yeah, I did not know that, but that they do have to check in. But do you know what percentage of immigrants are actually checking in on time and actually do their check-ins?
Yes, because there's actual statistics. So those represented by lawyers, generally speaking, between 90 and 98% of them make all court dates and check-ins. Those that do not have legal representation, meaning those that are doing it by themselves, those are about 85 to 92%. So the reason why it's so high is they want U.S. citizenship. So they're going to work really hard to ensure they get it. And also the other data that's important in case you want to go down this road, asylum seekers commit fewer crimes than U.S. citizens and are a net positive not only to tax revenue, but society as a whole, because they put money back into the economy and take jobs for the most part that quote unquote American citizens aren't willing to take. So they're a net positive, not a net negative.
I learned something new every day. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people don't, because to be honest, it's kind of a nerdy thing to specialize in and know and understand, right? But a lot of us have spent a lot of time working with lawyers in this field and understanding the federal law, and we learned a lot through that process. And the really crazy thing is that they did do a study on immigrant-led households. It was a few years ago, but immigrant-led households, so that includes all sorts of immigrants, which includes asylum seekers, it includes migrant workers, right? They contributed $494 billion in state, local, and federal taxes in 1 year. That is a tremendous amount of money. So not having immigration and various immigration statuses and processes actually is a net negative impact to our economy, because local economies where they have welcomed in immigrants, those towns have been revitalized. And there's a reason why in Michigan, specifically in Minnesota, where people point out where there are recently large immigrant communities, that they have revived those areas and are getting them to the point to where economically they're prospering on their own, right? And so there's just a lot of misinformation, and I think a lot of it's just based in part in fear, right? Yeah, and so anytime people get involved emotionally, I think it detracts from the actual facts.
Guys, keep tapping. 25,000 likes. We're going to go to a new guest. If you voted for Trump, disagree at the back on, hit the request button at the bottom.
Well, you informed me a lot. Thank you. I actually did not know a lot of that, so
sure.
Yeah,
I appreciate
that's what I'm
all
here for.
Info.
Yeah, and listen, thank you for listening, because that normally doesn't happen.
No,
so thanks for
those dumbass, or I don't know if it's dummies that don't want to listen. I actually want to have a nice civil debate and where both sides are actually learning something.
I think that's
It's
always a
not
great
just
thing.
a dumb argument.
I think that's a good thing.
Nothing's going to get done if everybody just sits there and argue.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. I
Thank
always
you for
aim for
saying that out
productive
loud.
conversations. Doesn't always go that way, but you have anything else you wanted to say?
I'm all good. I actually
Okay.
gonna head into the gym though, so
You're good, man. Have a good
I'll keep
workout.
on watching for a little bit. Hey, it was
sure,
a fun
man.
debate.
All right, take care. Have a good workout.
Have a nice day.
Yep. All right, let's get to this one. Remember, guys, we're looking for opposition. If you voted for Trump, hit the request button. Make sure you follow me and Anthony. If you want to show support to me, pay links are in my bio. And I will read your question coming out loud to the chat. I also have the gift goal at the bottom. Make sure you guys sub to me on the tube. Currently streaming over there. The link is in my bio. Hey, the guy who was begging to come on up. I tried to bring you on up, but it looks like you're not alive anymore. I don't know, whoever it was. Doap, D-O-A-P. There we go. Here he is. All right. Hey, what's going on?
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, how old are you?
30.
Cool. All right. What's going on?
Is that last guy still in the chat or no?
The previous guy, nah, he left. He wanted to go work out, he said.
Not the guy going to the gym. The other guy that was talking about Michigan being prosperous.
Oh, yeah, he's still here.
Yeah. So where is that coming from? I'm from Michigan, and I mean, I wouldn't say we have a massive like immigration like issue here, but I don't see Michigan being prosperous like in any way. We're actually not doing good at almost anything at this point. And it wouldn't be because of like illegal immigrants. And the thing too that we're kind of talking about, we're not talking about like asylum seekers creating a problem. It's like full on like illegal immigrants that are still able to get health care, still able to get all this other stuff. We spent about $1 trillion in the last 5 years on illegal immigrants. So like that is our money going to people that, you know, got into our country illegally. And at the same time, like I don't like Trump. I don't think anybody likes Trump, you know, but you can still be conservative and have a mindset that illegal immigration is terrible for our tax dollars.
So let's just level set. Immigration is a legal process, so you can't have illegal immigration. I know it's something that people like to say, right? What you could say for it to be factual is your position is you don't like undocumented immigrants, but immigration in and of itself is literally a federal law and process.
Nothing against them, but when you keep the border open and you let people come in here,
borders
there's
always okay. Let's just level set here, right? So where are you getting your economic data that $1 trillion was spent? Because I don't know.
It's a quick Google search. It's a quick Google search.
No. I don't Google search. You made the claim. Where did you get that claim so I could look it up? I don't think people understand that when you make claims that you're the one that has to defend the position. Clearly, nobody took speech and debate in high school or middle school.
Well, listen, I when I see from the Federation for American Immigration Reform, this does say it's a nonpartisan organization. I don't know much about them, but they estimate a net annual cost of U.S. taxpayers is about $150 billion a year, which does factor into the amount that they pay in taxes. So there's that, and I don't know if I would necessarily disagree that you know.
But that's not $1 trillion.
No. He said $1 trillion over 5 years, which would come out to be roughly actually that number. And I'm not saying that's nothing, right? But I would say, because if we're talking about $150 billion a year, in relation to our budget, I think it's small. And I know it is small. But again, it's obviously a non-zero amount, and I don't think anybody would say that like we shouldn't do something in regards to undocumented immigrants. I think most people would agree that like there are issues surrounding the border, there are issues surrounding immigration, and we should fix it. I think your average person would agree with that.
Yes, except for the fact that, as you know, the INA has been in law since 1954, and neither political party has done anything about it since it was passed.
No. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, no, they both have been failing on it for sure. But
and also
here's
the
thing:
devil's in the details with the money spent, right?
Right,
So
and
you
if
have
they're
to be able to
spending about $150 billion a year, is that something? Yes, but if we're talking about in relation to what, say, Trump spent in his first term, right, which was like $8-ish trillion, that is a pretty small fraction of that, you know. And if people care about us raising the debt, maybe they should focus on some of the things that he's doing, or really any president for that matter. Obviously, the debt goes up under every president. We do see historically it goes up less under Democrat presidents than Republican presidents. But
And
if we're
by the
talking
way,
about this new tax
yeah,
bill,
in those numbers,
yeah, good.
in those numbers is the budget for ICE and Homeland Security.
Exactly.
So
yeah.
you have to parse that out.
Well, that's
right?
actually a good
Because
point. That's actually a good point. Yeah.
just because you increase the budget for a department doesn't mean that it's actually spent on immigration.
Sure. No, that's a good point.
The act of immigrating, right? In toto, we have spent on an average of like whatever it would work out to a year, right? But if you strip out the increased costs that we've spent on these incredibly large budgets, it's nowhere near there, especially when you extrapolate the amount of local, state, and federal taxes that are paid into the buckets.
So,
right?
but that's a good point. So let me go back to what I was saying. So that estimate from the Federation for American Immigration Reform, about 150 billion or so, it does factor into some of the taxes that are paid, but it doesn't necessarily factor in the local taxes that are paid as well.
Yeah.
So it
why
is tough to get a good estimate. I mean, considering they are undocumented. Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually impossible. Mathematically, it's impossible because specifically in the last year and a half, we've now also stripped the ability to do the work to get that data, right? So all the people that were collecting that data are now fired.
Yeah.
Right.
Funny enough, from the whitehouse.gov itself, they estimate it's only $3 billion annually. Right? If we're talking per person, about
It's
what?
not that much.
No, that'd be about $10 per person, if I'm not mistaken, ish. Say there's 300-ish million, times 10 would be 3 billion, right? $10 per person.
We can just get off the money side. Regardless, it's awful. We're in any way. But so are you guys saying that like we should just continue the way that our immigration has been, for the last like 5-10 years? You guys think it's okay? Because from what I'm seeing is, I don't know if you look at worldly, news, I'm sure you guys do, but we are heading the same direction that like the UK is in and all these other places are in by bringing all these people in. And yeah, we did this, like we pretty much created a lot of, issues in like the Middle East and places like that. So, we do have to, obviously do our part and bring people into our country and help them out.
But if you're talking about,
it will get to a point
and
where
you're talking,
it's not a good situation.
Okay, but you're saying the major issue with them is affecting the economy, right?
No, it's so many different things than just the economy. No, it's not just the economy.
I do want to tackle the economy one more, and we can go to other aspects of what they affect. Given and like I said, the White House itself said that they cost maybe $3 billion a year. Here's the issue, though: the Department of Defense budget's roughly $1 trillion a year. You can literally shave off half that, right, and still have the biggest and strongest military, like by a factor of 10, and offset that couple billion a year. Or even if it's 10 or 100 billion a year, you would still offset that. Not saying again that we shouldn't do anything in regards to undocumented immigrants. I'm just saying in relation to other.
I know we
spend
the money on our military, but you can also look up how much it allows us to make money. We're able to trade. We secure pretty much every corner of the world.
And you can still.
The
do
thing
that
is
by
we
not
won't be
having
able. No, like
budget.
if we cut our military back, we are not going to have the same position that we have with the rest of the world. You're not going to have the same trade. You're not going to be like, we make a lot of like, we sell all of our old weapons. We sell all of our old weapons. That's where the money is also coming from.
Again,
too. We're making money off our military.
You can cut it back by 250 billion a year. That put it at 750 billion. We would still be stronger than the next 10 countries combined.
The amount of money it makes, that's all we have at this point is military. Like that's
okay.
where like
then I don't think you're being logical. Okay. I just if you wanna keep voting for putting more and more money into that and less into people's healthcare, less into housing, sure. Go ahead. What else?
I mean, and that's the thing. It's like I'm all for healthcare and I'm all for education. I think I went.
And we have the money for that. We have the money for universal health.
Exactly, and we agree on that. That's the thing that like we agree on it. But I just think that like the liberal mindset is just like dismantle everything and then just give it to politicians that have fucked us over continuously over and over and over.
What do
Like
liberals want
everyone's
to
like, oh, we
dismantle?
loved Obama. 8 years, he absolutely destroyed our country.
What
Absolutely destroyed our
what do liberals want to
privacy.
dismantle? What do liberals want to dismantle that you think is so harmful?
So there has to be a middle ground of still having like conservative, like, because this country wasn't built on like a liberal idea. Every first world country was built on conservative principles, and they
What do
always
liberals
fall
want to
apart
dismantle?
when they get too socialized. When they
What
get
do-
too socialized, it happened to it happened to Rome.
What
It
do
happens to
liberals
everyone. They
want to
always fall
dismantle?
apart.
What do liberals want to dismantle for like the 7th time?
ICE, for one. Okay, that's the big thing right now, guaranteed. You know,
Liberals don't want to dismantle ICE. Leftists do.
are you kidding me? Have you
Yeah,
seen?
hold
Have
on,
you
hold on.
opened
Yeah,
like your
yeah,
phone
hold
and
on.
looked at the news?
Yes, you are massively confusing liberals and leftists. Completely different. Leftists want to dismantle them. Liberals
That is correct.
want
That's
liberals
correct.
want to
I'm
reform
combining them, so I do
Right,
apologize.
liberals want to reform them, and there's maybe 1 or 2 leftists that are in Congress, right? Maybe you can call Bernie one. Maybe I still wouldn't because I think he's pro-capitalism. Maybe you can call AOC, but she's still pro-capitalism, and I would delineate that as a difference between leftist and liberal. But they don't want. None of them are calling to dismantle ICE. No one in Congress is. No Democrat.
I think there's a large difference between dismantling and having accountability
Right.
and standards, right? People conflate the fact that they think ICE has law enforcement capabilities. They do not. They are not law enforcement officers. They are federal immigration officers. And the way they're acting is against their own published policy. All of these things that they're doing go against all of the policies and training that is publicly made available. And it has to be publicly made available because that's how our system works, right? So no one's calling for the dismantling of ICE. What we're calling for is ICE to go back to doing their job, which is not coming and showing up in cities, in select states and select cities, when the statistics and the issues also reflect the same problems in red states and in red cities, but you don't see ICE acting the same way or in the same numbers there. This is a political movement that's happening with ICE. This has nothing to do with immigration or criminals, because if it did, all of the ICE officers should be at every single international airport interviewing people that are coming in, and then when they overstay their visas, going and kicking them out, because the largest population that violates immigration law year after year are those who fly here on airplanes and overstay visas. But we never seem to track those down. Gee, I wonder why that is, Doug. What could be what could be one of the factors that prevents ICE from tracking those folks down? I wonder what it could be.
It's a mystery, Anthony.
It's strange. I wonder if it has something to do with the color of their skin, perhaps.
I might have.
I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but
right. I guess right there.
If ICE's own numbers show that, that's what's scary.
Right. DOAP, whatever. You're off screen. I can't hear you if you're trying to speak.
And it doesn't look like Michigan's economy is like in the toilet. So I'm not quite sure. I keep trying to find different sources for numbers.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not the greatest economy in the United States, but
our school system's fucked, dude. I'm telling you right now, nobody in Michigan's happy about like Whitmer.
That has nothing to do with the economy. One has
their
nothing
school
to do
system
with the other.
doesn't.
No, it has nothing to do with
different
economics.
Things.
That's spending. That's about spending. That's about your state budget.
Regardless, let's go back to what you're saying about like how the more conservative states aren't having a problem with ICE. It's because their governor or mayor of the city doesn't stand up and be like, oh, we're actually not going to help you with the police. So anytime a really leftist person sees somebody in an SUV, they get a mob chasing that person down to stop them, even though they could be going to do their legal job that they have. But now you have to have 30 ICE officers to do one specific
thing.
You can't go out one. If I was one ICE officer and I had to arrest one guy, it doesn't matter what he did.
They're not police. Why are they arresting people without
They are allowed
warrants?
to detain illegal
No,
immigrants.
they are not.
Yes,
not without a warrant.
No.
They're not allowed to
without a
detain an
warrant.
illegal immigrant. You're insane.
Not
Go
without
look it up
okay.
right now. Just look it up.
So due process means what?
Look
Because
it up
due
right
process-
now. Look up
due
what they're
process-
able to do.
I know, but
Please.
we're
Due
walking through it.
process applies to them.
Well, I think we need to establish with him that he believes due process applies to non-citizens. Because there are many on
He
the right
doesn't
that
understand that it's all persons.
No, of course, but some people on the right seem to not understand that. So I think we need to establish that
Yeah.
first.
And it has to be a I can never say that word.
Judicial, yeah,
Judicial
stuff.
warrant signed by a judge.
Yeah.
You can't just, and even police officers can't
All right,
simply
real quick.
stop you. Yeah, real quick. Go ahead.
Real quick. So, okay. So they say they have a warrant for one specific person in a house. Okay. They're supposed to go apprehend them so they can start the judicial process and use
They're
due
supposed
process.
to present the warrant,
Yes.
ask everyone who's not a part of the warrant to exit the house, and then they are allowed to
Okay.
enter the
Regardless.
house.
So yes, that is
I'm
what's
trying
happening.
To explain to you
That-
the process.
No,
That's not
I'm
what-
listening, but
that's
listen,
not-
listen to
that
me
is
as
not what
well.
is
Okay.
happening.
You're right.
So say you have four ICE agents in a car. They do that right when they walk outside. You have the entire neighborhood interfering with it, and when they interfere, now they're legally allowed to do
It's
whatever
not
they
Where are
want.
they interfering?
It
Where
is.
are they interfering? For
Do you know
one,
what
It is.
interfering means?
Yes, yeah, I'm well aware of what interfering means.
Okay,
If you
explain to me what interfering means, because I can explain it to you, and I'll explain to you how I know what it means.
if you take a car and park it in front of a officer that is trying to do their duty, these are like
you're
That's not
referring to Renee
interfering.
Good, and they were done with all operations at that point.
like you can't just
Christy,
go
no.
block a federal agent from
She
doing
wasn't.
what they're supposed
If
to
you're
be doing.
loosely referring to her, she wasn't. Per Christy Nome, they were done with all operations at that point. Not to mention 11 vehicles passed her in the 3 minutes prior to it, if you are referring to her, which it sounds like you were.
Yeah.
So there is that.
You guys are just insane. Like you guys are totally fine. With
We're
just
the insane
having,
ones, yet
like,
you
illegal-
guys are
like,
our pro.
illegal-
We're the insane ones, yet you think it's okay that an ICE officer shoots a woman in the face.
So like I work from home and like do stuff. Like I'm assuming that you're just sitting here on a Monday, not doing anything with AirPods on, having
I'm talking to you. This is
political
what we're
discussion.
doing. I'm talking to you right
No,
now.
it's-
This is what I am doing.
Yeah, and that's
Okay,
what
if
I'm
you're
saying.
gonna-
But
if
it's
you're
just
gonna
like,
call it ad
why are you-
hominem
why would
because you don't
ever-
like it that I do
would
this.
you go out to a protest? Would you be happy with any of your family doing what either of those two people did and go?
I wouldn't
like,
want my
be
family
in
to
that situation?
unalive. That's not the point. You are totally deviating from the point. First of all, I don't know what this
No.
ad hominem attack is about me doing what I do with my life, right? I can do whatever I want to do. It has no effect on you. I'm sorry that it bothers you that I do this. I didn't kick him. He just left. I didn't
And
kick him.
yes, I would,
Wait, is
I
he
would
still
be
here?
very proud for people.
I know. I got a phone call.
I don't
good,
see him.
good. No, he's gone.
I'd be very proud.
Oh, yeah. Why do you run?
Wouldn't you? Exercising your First Amendment right? Who wouldn't want their children or family members doing that?
Yeah. I mean, of course, I wouldn't want them to be
That's
unalive.
what a
but-
weird.
Yeah, but I'm not going to victim blame them. Like, it wouldn't be
Yeah.
their fault, right? So, like, why did he leave?
I don't know.
I don't know why they have such an issue that, like, there are some content, there not even some, like, by definition, content creators do this. I'm sorry you don't like that. And they seem to always bring
I'm
that up
literally
every time they
sitting here
get
working.
cornered. Yeah, yeah, there are many people that hop on my panel that are like they have at-home jobs or whatever the case might be, where they are working in the middle of doing this. Not to mention, I do have to leave for a client in about 45 minutes anyways, so I do got to go to my other job. But that's besides the point. I can do what I want.
I
with
wish
my
your
life.
other job would come to Los Angeles
Yeah, that'd be a pretty
so we
far.
could hang out.
Pretty far. Yeah, that would be nice. Keep tapping and sharing, guys. If you're enjoying the live, click the red follow button on the top left. Make sure you send in your heart me. Follow Anthony. Show him some support if you guys can. Not needed. I got my pay links in the bio. I got the gift goal. Of course, not needed, but it is appreciated. Make sure you all sub to me on the tube. The link is in the bio.
And by the way, I'm coding things in Python while holding a conversation because unlike some
'Cause you can
people, I can
multitask.
do two things at once,
Yeah.
including chewing gum and walking.
Hey, Ian Clark, you can come on up. Me calling him wrong doesn't make me right. Me providing evidence to his claims makes me right.
Me right.
Hello, Ian. Hello. Yeah. What?
Rob, how are you doing?
Good, man. How old are you?
61.
Okay, cool. What is it that I'm assuming you're referring to that previous guest. What is it that I said to him that I claimed he was wrong that I didn't provide evidence for?
You know, you just got an opinion and you don't agree with other people.
What was the opinion?
You won't listen to other people's opinion,
What was the
and
opinion?
you don't learn from anything.
Okay, what was the opinion?
You base your judgment. You base your judgment on the limitations that you know, without looking at the whole
Give me an example.
whole picture.
Yeah, and listen, man, I want to be able to have the full context when I have an opinion on an issue. So, what is the opinion that I had that you felt wasn't correct?
Just been listening to you putting people down for their opinions.
Yeah, so give me an example of something. That way we can talk about it. So I like to get to the bottom of this. I think this would be good.
Well,
Cat got your tongue?
yeah, it has actually. Yeah, I've totally lost where I was going, so
Interesting.
I'm sorry, I'll have to leave you.
Okay. Well, that was fucking pathetic. The guy fucking cooked
That
himself.
was weird.
I didn't have. I had to say 4 words, and he cooked himself. That needs to be clipped.
That is a weird expression, though.
What, cooked?
Cat got your tongue.
Oh, cat got your tongue. Yeah.
For cat lovers, we don't hate cats. It's just a weird thing. Like, did cats ever like go and steal people's tongues? I wonder.
All right, that's gonna be clipped for sure. He seemed very confident when he came up.
Yeah, it's interesting too when people talk about what ICE officers can and can't do, and then many of us have made mention of the fact that their actual procedures and what they can and can't do. It's publicly available information. It's not secret.
Yeah, they're acting like
And
that's something that we can't look up or whatever.
Right, and yeah, I mean, part of my volunteer work is working as an armed guard and providing protective services. So I have to take powers of arrest classes, and I have to understand different agencies and what they do and who has authority over whom, and like you have to do this stuff as continuing ed. So when you learn it, you're like, oh, this is pretty freaking easy. Like, here are the links. This is what they're allowed to do. Just because somebody wrote a memo at DHS doesn't mean it's legal. And that's what people forget too. Congress has to pass a law to authorize them to have more power. If Congress hasn't done it, they don't have the power. That's the problem, right?
Well,
does it not state they can enforce federal law? No, they can only enforce immigration law. As an example, they can't do what a federal marshal can do.
Well,
So
you are
Some.
correct. Unfortunately, some of these things are being pushed towards its boundaries and a bit beyond lately, which is the concerning part. So I don't know, man. It's tough because yes, you are correct, but when they are doing things that are out of their boundaries, that are out of what they should be doing, and there's no repercussions for it, what is there to do?
Yeah, it's sad.
Yeah.
It's sad that people want to be okay with this too. Like, why do citizens want to have their constitutionally guaranteed rights violated and think it's okay to do so? This is what's really weird about the whole 2A community, right? They understand 2A, but they don't understand anything else, but then they claim to be constitutionalists. Well, selectively, perhaps.
So it's selectively. They are when it's convenient. They are conveniently constitutionalists. They're very pro 2A, very pro 2A until it's someone who happens to be on the left or it's a left-leaning issue where they get attacked for it.
Yeah, and they're always shocked when they find out that people on the left actually own pubes.
Yeah, I know.
Like that just boggles their fucking brain,
Yeah.
right? Does not compute. And listen, I'm all for improving the Naturalization Act of 1954 because it does need a lot of.
Sure, absolutely.
But what we really need, besides that, which is a Herculean task to update stuff like that, because you got to get everybody in Congress to agree, which good luck. But I want more judges. I want more resources in the court system to handle the backlog of court cases they have, because if that's where we were putting the resources, then there wouldn't be a problem,
Mm-hmm.
right? And people also forget that, generations age out, if you will, for TikTok friendly language.
Yep.
Who's going to be here to help take those available spots for citizenship to contribute to taxes, to play along with capitalism? There's all these things that have to happen in unison for things to progress, right? But they act as if all of a sudden, since 1954, now granted, social media hasn't been around that long, but I don't remember people 3 or 4 years ago being this angry about immigration. It's really just in the last year and a half that they're like so angry about it, right?
Yeah.
Certainly not in the last 20 years did anybody really discuss it. The only time Republicans got upset is when Ronald Reagan wanted to give exceptions for the people that were impacted vis-a-vis the Iran-Contra affair,
Yeah.
right? How they wanted Central and South Americans to be able to get a particular level of immigration and protections, and the Republicans pushed back on Reagan, but he overrode them anyway and made it happen, right? So ironically, the next president that did a big push to allow more immigrants to come and to give more protections was George Bush the second, right? So they don't even recognize that two presidents that Republicans seem to really laud a lot because of what they did in favor of their politics also were pro-immigration. And I find it rather ironic, right, that Trump, the one guy that can't stand Reagan because Trump doesn't have an airport named after him, right? And that's really what it's about, by the way. It's
I
all
know
about that
that's all
airport.
he cares about.
You know, never in his first term, he really didn't mention it very much.
Mm.
It wasn't a thing, right? But what the Republican Party has done, and what they've always done well, is messaging. They're so good at it. They're so good at taking
As of lately, I'd
the
say since
minutia.
2015. Yeah, the last 10 years. Prior
Yeah.
to that, during like the early 2000s, mid 2000s, no, they weren't. Democrats were better, and then that switched when Trump came about.
Yeah. Interesting, right?
Yeah. I mean, he is good at that. I will always, as much as I very much dislike him, I will always give him credit, unfortunately for the worse, that he is very, very good at advertising, so to speak, right?
Well, that's been his whole brand.
Yeah, no,
right?
I mean that's
Is
what he's good at. Yeah.
He doesn't build buildings, contrary to popular belief. He's built a couple, but he brands everything.
Right.
And that's what he's good at. He's good at branding. And I can't dispute that. I would be lying if I said he wasn't good at branding. He's not always successful, right? He's gone bankrupt several times, and several of his products have gone bankrupt, but it hasn't stopped him yet, right? Though one day it will all come to an end.
I would like to think so.
By the way, I am going to be on the East Coast here in a couple weeks.
Oh yeah.
But not down by you. Unfortunately, I'll be in the DC area freezing my ass off at 2 different conferences.
When's that going to be?
End of the month.
In a month.
For a week.
Yeah.
It's not warm there at all, right? It's like so weird.
No, I
Like it's
doubt
going to be 80 today here, right?
Yeah.
And today there it's like 34. I'm like,
You're
oh,
gonna have to get your
I
winter
have to like
clothes out.
find a sweater or something.
Yeah. Ah, man. All right. Well, hey, I think I'm gonna wrap this
That was
up
really good.
a bit.
It was
Yeah,
really
you
good
go.
having Lainey and Erica. It was good
nice
to hear their voices
Yeah,
again.
yeah, it was great. Yeah, it was nice having them up. I always like having Erica up. I know Lainey's not up too much, but I love it when Lainey's on up. But yeah, guys, I think I'm going to wrap this up. I got a client I got to work out soonish and figure it out.
Do it.
I'll just be done now.
Thank
However,
you as always. I appreciate
yeah, absolutely.
you.
Yeah, make sure you guys all give a follow to Anthony over here. I'll go ahead and bring you down right now, but hope you have a good rest of your day, okay?
Word.
All right, and
Yep.
as far as everybody else, I may be live later on, just depends. Of course, I'll let you guys know in the bulletin board. If you want to join that, click my profile picture in the top left. There's an option to join it. Or, better yet, just join Discord. Link is in the bio. If the link doesn't work for whatever reason, just DM me. I'll give you a proper link that does work. But, yeah, I don't know for sure if I'll be live. I will, of course, let you guys know beforehand. That's it. Good live. Appreciate everybody that either Venmo, Cash App, PayPal me. Or gifted, or just even if you tap, shared, and all that stuff, commented, all that stuff still helps. Really appreciate all of you. Take care, guys. And if I don't see you later, I'll see you guys tomorrow.